Okay, I think we have Gabe. Gabe, are you here?
I'm
There you
here.
are. Great. All right. Thank you, Gabe, for joining us. So we're ready to roll now. What I would like you to do, uh, Gabe, first is just tell us a little bit about your experience since you left SAGU, but how you got into the HR field and where you've been, and just fill us in a little bit about who you are. Okay.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Um, I graduated there in 2004, SAGU, and so back then I was in Davis Hall, I think, which is now offices. So uh, everyone at SAGU is living in luxury now. If you saw Davis Hall back then, but it was great and enjoyed that a lot. uh, from there, once I graduated, since I have a family and all that stuff, I actually spent some time being a coach and athletic director for a small school, and just building my soft skills and a lot of just talking with parents and kids and just coaching. I started my HR career with Target, so I started out there in Target, and how I fell into the HR field is that as an executive at Target, I was trying to get my own store. And so one of the things you have to do is you have to spend 18 months in each executive position. And so one of them was HR. And so I figured out that that was the one I excelled the most at. And so I did get there to where I was going to become a store manager, and an opportunity actually came up to go with Macy's. And so uh, to be a full-time HR person, I went with Macy's, and I had multiple stores in Houston and the El Paso area. And so learned how to do virtually a lot of things with them because, I was primarily in El Paso. I would do a lot of virtual visits throughout, through the computer and through Skype and Zoom and all those things. And then once the retail apocalypse hit, I was eventually one of those ones that was laid off. And so that's how I found myself with Virgin Galactic. Kind of, shot in the dark. Are they going to take someone from retail that has some HR experience? And they sure did. So now I've been with Virgin Galactic for the past year and a half or so, and we do a lot of virtual meetings. We have a California office. We have some in New Mexico. We have some in the UK, and then we have a couple people in Washington. So a lot of things that we do are virtual for us.
All right, great. Well, real quick, because I had the privilege of coming to see Gabe last October at Virgin Galactic out there in California. So a lot of people may not be familiar with them. So just real briefly, we don't want to spend a lot of time with who they are, but just tell us what y'all's working on.
Yeah, so we're basically commercializing space. So back then, the only people that could go to space were if you were an astronaut with NASA. So now we're actually commercializing it. We have our spaceship, and we're going to be taking people up. That you just buy a ticket, we'll take you up to space for a while, and then come right back down. So that's all kind of through Richard Branson's vision of just making sure that the world is a better place and understanding that we're all one.
Right. And it is a little bit expensive. So anyway, okay.
Slightly. Slightly.
Uh, but let's go ahead and talk about this. We're in a situation now that we haven't seen ourselves in before, obviously, and we keep talking about that. But students just graduated last Friday, and they're like asking now, well, can I apply? Can I work somewhere? Is anybody going to hire me? What's the procedures? And so I encourage them, go ahead and still apply. And once the rehiring starts up again, but tell me a little bit about what you're seeing in the field, as far as, are people still interviewing and knowing that someday there are going to be hiring again, or how's that working?
Yeah, definitely. So when we talk about Virgin Galactic is building our pipeline. So uh, because of circumstances right now, we may not be hiring right now, but what we're telling candidates is once we select the candidate saying, hey, we're going to get back going, which is our projected time we're going to get back going. And so they already have a slot with us, and they understand that we're transparent up front, and they're transparent with us. Some of them are working some other jobs, and they're like, hey, I'll quit this one once that one's ready. And that's all right to be transparent with both. You know, and it's something that's going to change. This whole pandemic is going to change how we do business. And so a lot of folks are going to start going virtual interviews because they're going to start seeing how cost efficient it is and how quick it is to really see a lot of people in one day. And you don't have, for us, they used to come on site and we used to give tours and all those things. And it costs a lot of money. We'd fly people from all around the country. And now we're seeing the cost effectiveness. We can still hire great people without having them come. And so their first day is actually kind of a little funner because now it's their first time seeing a spaceship and all those things. So we're going to see the whole business kind of change in that aspect.
That's awesome. That's something I was thinking about. I thought, you know what, I bet this does. I bet it's a new switch. I know in the education field, there was a lot of virtual job fairs because, you know, they're looking to hire teachers for the fall. And they're like, well, we can't go on campus to do that, but we can do it virtually. So I do think a lot of us are going to see the benefits. So as a candidate that is applying for a position with a company and they're doing a virtual interview or the Zoom, you know, because the Zoom, they could have several people there from different aspects, like you probably said, like different parts, you know, of the country could be part of the interview. But tell me some of the things that you recommend a candidate. I mean, from typical things that we talk about in interview is, you know, look them in the eye. Well, obviously we can't look them in the eye, but what can we do instead of that? You know, our posture, our dress, those types of things. And again, you said something a while ago too that was real important. I was touch base on this real quick, is the transparency. You know, so you have an opportunity to be transparent. But tell us a little bit about what they should be expecting when they're in a Zoom interview.
Yeah, I think again, this changes the way we communicate a whole different realm. Well, the first thing that I would say, and I was having issues right now, is Wi-Fi. Having a good Wi-Fi. You don't think about those things because you just kind of assume it's going to work. A lot of times, and here it goes. See, it's loading right now. There it is. So, a lot of times we think it's just going to work. And so making sure it does work. If it's your first time with Zoom, make sure you know how to work those things. I know you did a practice call with me earlier. You know, I'm still having some issues. So it's just those things. So, you know, for us, we're not going to grade you on those things, but those things can cause a distraction. The other thing we don't think about is our background. So a lot of things. So there's things called unconscious bias, and no matter how hard in HR that we try to get away from unconscious bias, there's something innate in us. When we see something that distracts us from the interview, from your background, you know, it changes our mindset on whether we're going to hire this person or not. And so it's not right or wrong. It's just those things that end up, you know, we're human beings. We see those things. We start thinking other things about this person. So you just want a nice, easy background, nice and just professional. Again, just addressing as well. I think what we figure out is we know who just got out of bed for an interview. We do, and you can see it. You can tell. And so I have a vast majority. So in our company, I have some people that we pay really high paid engineers, just people, just rocket scientists, really, doctors, surgeons, and so. But we also have mechanics, so we can tell the difference in the interviews. And a lot of times, you know, the mechanics, it's just their lifestyle, but a lot of times they look like they just got out of bed. So I'm just going for a mechanic job. Well, yeah, I mean, we want you for your skills, but we also want to know that when it's time to put your best foot forward, that you're able to do so. And so, yeah, we still look at the dress and saying, how important is it to this person that they're getting this interview? And so that's one of the things that we talk about as well, is this person prepared? And I think the other thing that we don't realize is, how do we look on camera? So if you're not used to looking yourself on camera, so even right now for me, we do a lot of Zoom calls and I just minimize my screen because what I'll end up doing is I end up looking at myself. Right. And so, so that's distracting in itself. We're looking at it and we're looking at ourselves. And if you're not used to it, it just feels weird and you're not able to think about those questions that you're going through. So those are things that we don't really think about. And that's the difference between in-person interview and then an online interview. Those are the kind of things that we see and I see commonly. But again, our culture is just kind of changing and evolving in that.
Right. Well, that's some great points there. Okay. Well, one of the things that you had brought up a while ago, so talk to me about soft skills. This seems to be a big thing with a lot of HR people. They're saying, you know what? Everybody can have the same degree, but the person that's going to stand out is those who actually have the soft skills. What types of soft skills should our students and our grads be focusing on? And, what do you think some of the key ones are?
Well, yeah, I think that's great. And come from SAGU, this should be a no-brainer. And because when you look at our values, and, I went there because I went to SAGU because the values that SAGU taught and the foundation they had, they lined up with my values. Mm-hmm. And so, and what are those values? I just wanted to serve people. I want to be good to people. I want to be nice and just be a good person and really enjoy life and bring people along. And so, with that Christian aspect behind it, I think it's really just being good to people. I think we get it convoluted in saying soft skills, and I say those things to you as well. But it's really knowing how to talk to someone or knowing to laugh. So you can laugh in an interview. It's okay. Mm-hmm. And sometimes I'll say stuff in an interview as I'm asking questions, and I'll get them to laugh because I'll say something just out of the ordinary just to see if they're going to laugh. Mm-hmm. And it's really caring about others as well. So one thing we look at as a soft skill is that I'll ask a question, and I want to see if they're highlighting themselves or they're highlighting people that they're talking about. Mm-hmm. Because that means that's someone that's a team player and that they understand that they're not successful without the people right next to them. And so that's one of the soft skills that we talk about as well is, being successful is helping the next person be successful right next to you.
Right.
And you get a long way with that. And, that goes along with our beliefs is, we're here to serve others. And that shows a lot. If you're right with the right company, they're going to value that a lot more than anything else.
Right. Awesome. Well, that's great. Yes. Thanks for pointing that out. I want to ask real quick, because I know we only have a few more minutes. If anybody has any questions, now's a good time to drop those on the comments there, and we will get to those here with you in just a second. So, okay. Well, anything else? We just have a couple more minutes, but what are some other things that you could just give some words of encouragement, especially to our grads? I mean, that's, a lot of the people that are out there right now, and they're just like, what am I doing? Where do I go? How do I apply? I don't even know where to start. So just give them some encouragement again, based on like when you were around, and, what's some things that they could be doing right now in these next couple of weeks?
Yeah, I say try something out of the box. I watched another coffee and chat with Dr. Saldivar, and I love what she said, and you were saying it too. Go stock shelves right now, because I worked retail before, mm-hmm. and they're the only ones that are really getting jobs right now, and it's crazy. It's really going to teach you a lot. I learned a lot in retail, and I never saw myself in retail. I didn't like retail by any means, but it was so outside the box of who I was that I realized that who I am is not evolved in what I'm doing. It's how I do it. And so, God gives us all these ingredients for life, and he's going to give you these different opportunities. You may not think, hey, I want to be a CEO. Why am I stocking shelves? Well, what if that leads to something else?
Absolutely.
That's the way the Lord leads. That's the way the Lord leads, and that's the way the Lord has it. And I got to my position not because I was looking at HR and doing things like that. It's mm-hmm. because one opportunity led to another, and one person led to another. And you know what? Then I put my ego aside, and I was able to get to where I wanted to be today. So that's what I would say. Just go outside the box. It's okay. You'll realize quickly it's not about what you're doing. It's how you do it.
Yeah. Well, that's great information. And I love that. I really do, because I think that so many times I've encountered graduates that they expect that once they graduate, they've got the diploma in the hand, so now they can go be in your position. And so one of the things that we're trying to do is to highlight a lot of our a lot of our graduates, and letting them see that, you know, it's not from the dorm to from the classroom to the CEO room, right? Or to the board room. And so that's great information. Well, our time is up. But Gabe, I want to say thank you so much for joining us. It was wonderful having you here. And we'll look forward to doing some more of these coffee and career chats in the future. And if you have any questions, you can go ahead and send those in. And if I can get them over to Gabe, or I'll try to give you some answers. All right. Y'all have a blessed day.
Thanks, Bev.